Title: The Age of Discovery. Magellan's Voyage Around the World. Clip 1. Introduction to the Age of Discovery. The Age of Discovery, spanning the 15th to 17th centuries, marked an era where European explorers set out into uncharted territories. This time of exploration was driven by the thirst for knowledge, new trade routes, and the expansion of empires. Among the many famous explorers of this time, Ferdinand Magellan's voyage around the world stands out as a monumental achievement. Ferdinand Magellan was born in Portugal in 1480. From a young age, he was captivated by tales of adventure and the mysterious lands beyond the known world. His early experiences as a sailor in the Portuguese fleets gave him the skills and determination needed to seek out new routes beyond the familiar waters of Europe. Magellan conceived an ambitious plan to find a western sea route to the Spice Islands of Indonesia. In a time when the world was still perceived as flat by some, he theorized that he could reach the east by sailing westward around the South American continent. This bold idea promised not only great wealth from the spice trade, but the glory of being the first to navigate a course around the globe. Despite his Portuguese heritage, Magellan found himself offering his services to King Charles I of Spain after several failed attempts to gain support from his native land. In 1518, the Spanish king granted him 5 ships and a crew, funding what would become an audacious journey into the unknown. Clip 5. The departure from Spain. On September 20th, 1519, Magellan's fleet set sail from the port of Sanlúcar de Barrameda. Comprised of 5 ships, Trinidad, San Antonio, Concepcion, Victoria, and Santiago. With a multi-nation crew, this expedition embarked on what would be one of the most significant voyages in maritime history. Clip 6. Crossing the Atlantic Ocean. The initial leg of the voyage involved the crossing of the Great Atlantic Ocean. During this time, Magellan faced challenges such as adverse weather, the threat of mutiny, and the constant need to ration food and supplies. Despite these obstacles, his leadership was key in keeping the crew focused and motivated. Clip 7. Arrival at the coast of South America. After weeks at sea, the fleet reached the coast of South America in December 1519. This marked the beginning of a perilous navigation along the eastern shores of the continent, searching for a strait that would allow them to pass through to the Pacific Ocean. The journey down the coast was slowed by the harsh conditions of the Patagonian winter. Magellan and his crew had to contend with freezing temperatures, stormy seas, and the challenge of limited supplies. In this challenging environment, maintaining morale was as crucial as keeping the ships afloat. Clip 9. The discovery of the Strait of Magellan. After months of exploration and near disaster, on October 21st, 1520, the fleet found a passage that cut through the southern tip of South America. This strait, later named the Strait of Magellan, was the long-sought gateway to the Pacific Ocean. Clip 10. The Pacific crossing begins. Despite the triumph of finding the strait, what awaited them was an uncharted and vast Pacific Ocean. This next phase of the journey tested Magellan's navigational skills and the endurance of his weary crew. Provisions were scant, and the sea seemed endless as they sailed into the great unknown. Clip 11. The challenges of the Pacific Ocean. The crossing of the Pacific proved to be one of the most arduous challenges of the expedition. With nearly 4 months at sea without sight of land, scurvy began to take its toll on the crew, causing weakness, pain, and eventually death for many. This ordeal tested the limits of human endurance and highlighted the dangers of long-distance sea voyages. In March 1521, after 99 days at sea, the fleet finally spotted land at the island of Guam. It was a much-needed respite for Magellan and his crew, allowing them to rest, resupply, and repair their battered ships. However, tensions arose with the indigenous Chamorro people, leading to conflicts over resources. Clip 13. Arrival in the Philippines, the expedition continued towards the Philippines, where they experienced a warm welcome from some of the local populations. Magellan saw this as an opportunity to establish alliances and convert the locals to Christianity, spreading Spanish influence across the islands. In the Philippines, Magellan became embroiled in local conflicts, siding with a friendly tribe against their rivals. On April 27, 1521, during the Battle of Mactan, Magellan met his fate when he was killed in combat. His death marked a crucial turning point for the expedition, as leadership fell to his remaining officers. Clip 15. Leadership under João Carvalho and Juan Sebastián Elcano. After Magellan's death, leadership passed to the surviving captains, notably João Carvalho and Juan Sebastián Elcano. Under their command, the expedition continued its mission, though internal disputes and challenges continued to plague their journey. Clip 16. The route to the Spice Islands. Despite setbacks, the fleet eventually reached the Spice Islands, now known as the Maluku Islands, in November 1521. This success fulfilled part of Magellan's grand vision of securing new trade routes for Spain, but the journey was far from over. Clip 17. The return voyage. With the spice cargo loaded, the decision was made to return to Spain by continuing westward. This choice was fraught with challenges, as they faced both the vast Indian Ocean and the threat of hostile encounters with the Portuguese, who claimed these waters. Clip 18. Voyage through the Indian Ocean. Navigating the Indian Ocean was not easy for Elcano, who now commanded the expedition. They had to deal with treacherous weather, navigational difficulties, and dwindling supplies. This part of the journey was as perilous as any the fleet had encountered,